It's looking like an improved version of Mr. Dave.
I'm sorry for yesterday.
No, no.
It's easier. I'm sorry with mine. Actually, we use liquid text, so we mark it on liquid text.
You mark it on liquid text. This one, like, a little problem because I was trying to go through the whole process of again quitting, then
May I please, Madam? Just to complete the.
so we have, yes, you can now take us through any other statutory provisions that we have missed yesterday, so that
Yes.
then we have to
There's
complete.
just one at page, section 39. The bookmark of the Motor Vehicles Act, Milos, page 355.
SWOT. Information here.
Such is the necessity for registration.
Just give me 1 second.
Sorry.
There's some problem today. It's not coming. Yeah, I'm not getting the. You know, I am.
Should I hand over a bookmark copy in an iPad for your lordship's convenience? That's 335.
30.
Check up. Yes.
335 is necessity for registration in the chapter for
39.
registration of motor vehicles. Just reading 39 for a purpose, Milos. No person shall drive any motor vehicle, and no owner of a motor vehicle shall cause or permit the vehicle to be driven in any public place or in any other place unless the vehicle is registered in accordance with this chapter. The certificate of registration of vehicle has not been suspended or cancelled, and the vehicle carries a registration mark displayed in the prescribed manner, provided that nothing shall apply if the motor vehicle is in possession of a dealer subject to such conditions. Now, 41, Milos. Registration, how to be made. An application by or on behalf of the owner of a motor vehicle for registration shall be in such form and shall be accompanied by such document, particulars and informations, and shall be made within the such period as may be prescribed by the central government, provided that where a motor vehicle is jointly owned, Your Lordship may skip that. Come to 4, my Lords, if Your Lordships don't mind, please. Is that in addition to, which is at page 336, in addition to the other particulars required to be included in the certificate of registration, it shall also specify the type of motor vehicle, being a type as the central government may, having regard to the design, construction, and use of the motor vehicle by notification in the official gazette specify. So here for the registration purposes, one has to mention the design, the construction and use of motor vehicles by notification. This is where, my lords, according to me, in my respectful submission to your lordships, weight comes in. It will mention, my lords, the number of cylinders, the cc that is there, the cubic capacity of the engine, and for what purpose is it being used.
Yes.
Because after all, my lords, your lordships may also have to give effect to what is the purpose of mentioning weight in the definition section. Some purpose is attached to that weight, that one is classified as 7,500, other is medium between 12,000 and 7,500. So a purpose is there. And that purpose is there in the Motor Vehicles Act, my lords, as far as the registration is concerned. It's there, my lords, under the Income Tax Act, where I checked up, because sometimes where it's like a house property, where if you are owning a commercial vehicle, transport vehicle of a particular weight, then you are required to pay a particular tax on it for the year, which is dependent on the weight. That is, my lord, section 44AE of the Income Tax Act. So that has a deemed income concept in it. If you are owning a transport vehicle of a particular weight that is given, heavy goods vehicle or other than heavy goods vehicle, there is an income tax that attaches to it. So weight has a particular significance for the description. It could be for any other purpose. And the 44AE says that the definition of vehicles shall be unladen weight, etc., shall be as per the Motor Vehicles Act. So that, in my respectful submission, would be the why weight is mentioned in this. Now, if the weight is there, my lords, the ordinary cars, my lords, even the cars that your lordships have, are about between 1,800 to 2,000 kilograms. They rarely go up to 6,000 or 7,000 kilograms as far as motor car is concerned, my lords, because that even an SUV I checked up, my lords, is higher side is 3,000, 3,500 kilograms. So it may be an LMV, but the certificate of registration would mention LMV, cylinders, weight, unladen weight is of this particular purpose. Unladen weight also has some significance, my lords. One can't tinker with that unladen weight once the vehicle has come to the person, that you add some iron thing, a grill which takes the weight to far exceeds the unladen weight of 7,000, though it's classified as LMV, but you've added certain things to it which takes the unladen weight away. So by weight necessarily may not be a good criteria to go by, because it is defined as 7,500 and it's a transport vehicle or an omnibus. They'll all fall in one category of this. Now, yesterday, the question that fell from the bench, my lords, was about the rules. Your lordships wanted to see the rules, my lords.
We are at page 436, Stuart.
Lordship pleases, my lords. As far as the licensing regime is concerned, your lordships were desirous of seeing the 436. It starts, my lords, after they are quite detailed, the rules. And chapter 2, my lords, at 440 deals with licensing of drivers of motor vehicle. So 3 says, my lords, that the provisions of subsection 1 at 440, my lords, your lordships have that. Provisions of subsection 1 of section 3, which is the section which is falling for your lordship's consideration, shall not apply to a person while receiving instructions or gaining experience in driving with the object of presenting himself for a test of competence to drive, so long as such person is the holder of an effective learner's license issued to him in Form 3 to drive the vehicle. Such person is accompanied by an instructor holding an effective driving license to drive the vehicle, and such instructor is sitting in such a position to control or stop the vehicle. And there is painted in the front and rear of the vehicle this L, which is there. Then is evidence as to correctness as to age. Then 5 comes as far as the medical certificate is concerned. Since there is a divergence in the medical certificate for transport and other vehicles, every application for the issue of a learner's license or a driving license for making addition of another class or description of a motor vehicle to a driving license, or for renewal of a driving license to drive a vehicle other than a transport vehicle, shall include a self-declaration as to the physical fitness as appended in Form 2, and every such application for a license to drive a transport vehicle shall be accompanied by a medical certificate in Form 1A, issued electronically on the portal by a registered medical practitioner referred to in subsection 3 of Section 8. So the rule contemplates, my lords, that even if I have to switch from the class, if I have to go for transport vehicle, then I require a medical certificate from a medical practitioner. Because that's what, for making addition of another class. So the moment
Dipankar's job.
And therefore, the proviso, my lords, provided that every application for renewal of a driving license to drive a vehicle other than a transport vehicle shall be accompanied by a medical certificate in Form 1A issued electronically on the portal of registered practitioner referred to in Section 3 in the case of an application attained the age of 40 years. So that distinction between transport and other vehicle is maintained, my lords. Then your lordships may come to 10. Lordships may see 9 also, since Ms. Pathak requests me to read 9, my lords. 9 is, my lords, minimum training and language comprehension, requirement for driving of goods carriage, carrying dangerous and hazardous goods. 1 year from the date of commencement of the Central Motor Vehicles Amendment 93, any person driving a goods carriage carrying goods of dangerous or hazardous nature to human life shall, in addition to being the holder of a driving license to drive a transport vehicle, also has the ability to read and write at least one Indian language out of those specified in 8th schedule of the Constitution and English, and shall also possess a certificate of having successfully passed a course consisted of following syllabus and periodicity connected with the transport of such goods. So then, my lords, it says syllabus is defensive driving, questionnaire, cause of actions, etc. My lords, then it goes. And therefore, then 10 comes as far as an application for learner's license is concerned. Application for learner's license. An application for the grant of a learner's license shall be made in Form 2 and shall be accompanied by the following documents and fee submitted electronically on a portal either accessed by the applicant himself with the help of a facilitation center, a medical certificate in Form 1A in case of an application for learner's license to drive a transport vehicle. I'm only pointing out the relevant part where transport is mentioned, my lords. Apart from
Actually, D is very important. In the case of an application for transport vehicle,
yes, my lords.
Excluding whatever, the driving license held by the applicant. So in order to hold a license for a transport vehicle, you have to have an existing driving license.
I should have held it for 1 year according to the section.
Section
If
says
your lordships.
1 year prior holding.
Right. Section 7. Section 7. Lords, 14, page 443. Says an application for a driving license shall be made in Form 4 and shall be accompanied by an application for driving license shall be made in Form 4 shall be accompanied by an effective learner's license of the type to which the application relates, appropriate fee as specified in Rule 32 for the test or the subsequent test as the case may be of competence to drive for each class and for issue of license. Each class specifically mentioned, my lords. The applicant's recent size photograph, and D, save as otherwise provided in Rule 6, a medical certificate in Form 1A in case of an application for license to drive a transport vehicle, and E, in the case of an application for driving license to drive a transport vehicle, a driving certificate in Form 5 issued by the school or establishment from where the applicant received instructions. Lordships yesterday saw the distinction about holding 1 year's license and undergoing that training period for 1 year from a school before a transport vehicle license can be taken. Now, my lords, at page 444, Rule 17 is addition to driving license.
Addition to driving license.
So an application for addition of another class or description of motor vehicle to the driving license shall be made in Form 2 to the licensing authority and shall be accompanied by 1, that is an effective learner's license and driving license held by the applicant. B, the driving certificate in Form 5 in the case of an application for addition of a transport vehicle excluding e-rickshaw or e-cart. And the same requirement of medical certificate is specified in sub-rule E, my lords. Save as otherwise provided in Rule 6, a medical certificate in Form 1A in case of an application for addition to license to drive a transport vehicle. Then it's Rule 18, my lords, at page 445, which is renewal of driving license. Application for the renewal of a driving license shall be made in Form 2. I'll take your lordships to the form because Form 2 finds mention everywhere. To any licensing authority in the state in which the applicant ordinarily resides or carries on business and shall be accompanied by appropriate fee, etc. My lords. D, in the case of an application for renewal of license to drive a transport vehicle, again, the medical certificate in Form 1A, or in the case of an application of renewal of license to drive a non-transport vehicle, if the applicant has attained the age of 40, then a certificate in Form 5 if renewal is to drive heavy goods vehicle and heavy passenger motor vehicle. 2, where the driving license authorizes the holder of such license to drive a transport vehicle as well as any other vehicle, then the licensing authority shall, subject to the production of medical certificate, renew such license for the appropriate period as specified in subsection 2 of section 14, which generally for transport is 5 years, and for other classes it varies according to as the applicant's age increases gradually. Like this, it goes on, Milos, the rules, but the general theme that seems to run through it, that transport vehicles are treated in a different class altogether, which is the scheme which is flowing from the sections that your lordships have been pleased to read yesterday.
Yes.
Milos, I wanted to show, to get a license, since we are on the rules, if your lordships are pleased to turn to page 449, Rule 31. They have a syllabus for imparting instructions in driving of motor vehicles.
Yeah.
And the syllabus is also different. It says, the syllabus for imparting instructions in driving of motor vehicles of the schools or establishment shall be as follows. See table below. The lessons for training drivers of non-transport vehicles shall cover parts A, B, C, F, G, and K of the syllabus referred to in sub-rule 1, and the training period shall not be less than 21 days, provided that in case of motorcycles, sufficient compliance plus motorcycle separate. 3, lessons for training drivers of transport vehicles shall cover parts E, F, G, H, I, J, and K of the syllabus referred to in sub-rule 1, and the training period shall not be less than 30 days. Then 4, my lords, the actual driving hours for trainees on driving non-transport vehicles shall not be less than 10 hours, and actual driving hours for trainees in driving transport vehicles shall not be less than 15 hours. And it sets out the various table that sets out what they have to read, and they are also sort of in a way divided between what is common and not uncommon between, if we see the chart, Millards. I'm not taking your lordships through that part. Millards, may just turn to Rule 62, which doesn't relate to license. It relates to validity of certificate of fitness. Because the argument in Mukund Devangan was that it is of a particular class, which is motor vehicle. But if it is of a particular class, light motor vehicle, then the validity of certificate in respect of a transport vehicle and other vehicles is clearly brought out, Millards, in 62. It's validity of certificate of fitness. A certificate of fitness in respect of a transport vehicle granted under section 56 shall be in form 38 and sorry, Millards, 52, Millards, at page 477. Sorry, Millards.
No problem.
Certificate of fitness.
It's certificate of fitness. It says new transport vehicle, 2 years. Renewal of certificate of fitness in respect of transport vehicles, 2 years, up to 8 years, and 1 year for vehicles older than 8 years, for heavy good vehicles, heavy passenger motor vehicles onwards, and for medium goods vehicle, medium passenger motor vehicles, and light motor vehicles with effect from so and so. So renewal of certificate of fitness in respect of transport vehicle and transport vehicle, new transport vehicle, shall be 2 years.
Anything else in the rules now?
Just the form, if your lordships are desirous of seeing.
Yes, let's see the form. क्या बोला?
31 तो बोल दिया ना?
85. If your lordships are pleased to turn to 685. Form 1. That's Form 1A at 684. Just the heading falls in, the last part falls in 684. Is the medical certificate form, Millards? Because we've covered quite a bit of the medical part, Millards. Form 2 is the important form, Millards, which is at 685. And it is to be read with Rule 10, 14, 17, and 18, which I read to your lordships just now, Millards. Form of application of learner's license or driving license in addition of a new class of vehicle or renewal of driving license or change of address or name. And the form your lordships will find at 686. And at serial 1, Millards, it mentions class of vehicle applicable for new learner's license or new driving license. And it mentions motorcycle without gear, motorcycle with gear. It says light motor vehicle, Millards, and then there's the asterisk. The asterisk is, Millards, earlier. It would read transport vehicle. Would mention, Millards, earlier transport vehicle, but this has been amended. And transport vehicle, it used to read, Millards, light motor vehicle as transport vehicle. So now the legislature has deleted transport vehicle part and has just light motor vehicle, adapted vehicle, a medium or heavy goods or passenger vehicle as transport vehicle. And then explanation, my lords. Non-transport vehicles include motorcycle with or without sidecar for personal use, mopeds three-wheel for personal use, motor car for personal use. Transport vehicle includes a public service vehicle, a goods carriage vehicle, goods carriage, an educational institution, bus or private service. Light motor vehicle includes, and it has been substituted, the transport has been done away with in this part. Would read, my lords, transport vehicle, which is there in the definition, that in the form has been done away with now. This amendment, my lords, is in 2021 though. So the legislature itself has clarified that light motor vehicle includes omnibus, the gross vehicle weight of either of which, or a motor car or a tractor or road roller, the unladen weight of any of which does not exceed 7,500 kilograms. Then medium goods and heavy goods vehicle are there. Interesting, if your lordship sees others also, which is not covered in any of the above categories, includes harvester, excavator, forklift, trailer, crane mounted vehicles, agricultural tractor, power lift, tow trucks, breakdown and van recovery vehicles, construction equipment vehicles. A 5 at 687 says, my lords. In case of request for addition of a class of vehicle in transport category, please fill the following: enrollment number in the driving school, enrollment date, etc. That they want to drive a transport vehicle. Because for transport vehicle, as your lordships remember, the section itself says that you should hold a license for an LMB for 1 year. So you've applied for LMB, and therefore the addition now comes that you want to apply for a transport vehicle. So on my own, I can't go on my 20th birthday and apply that I wish to drive a transport vehicle. That is not the scheme of the Act. It presupposes you have at least for 1 year driven a light motor vehicle, and then you will have an addition of a transport vehicle. This Form 2 has been dealt with at considerable detail, my lords, in Mukund Devangan. And my lords, this Form 5, etc., which really I don't think I should take your lordship's time.
Mr. Dave, there's one aspect which we have probably not cited.
Yes,
You
my lord.
see the syllabus,
Yes, my lord.
which is the syllabus for imparting instructions in driving of motor vehicles.
Yes, my lord.
Now 31J,
Yes, my
the
lord.
training for light motor vehicle driving is one. This is the syllabus.
Yes, my lord.
Then there is a separate syllabus for medium and heavy. And thereafter, there's another syllabus for two-wheeler driving.
Yes, my lord.
Now, these training institutes have to be provided a certificate.
Yes.
This certificate is to be issued in Form 5B.
Yes, my lord.
Now, this is to be as per 31II,
Yes,
31EII.
yes, my lord.
Now, if the training is identical, the certificate issued is identical, and this is the certificate on the basis of which the license is to be applied for,
Yeah.
then what would be the import of these provisions?
Lordship pleases. My lords, in the table that your lordships are seeing, the table, the first one, since it says what is to be done by a non-transport vehicle in 31(2), covers part A, B, C, F, G, and K. 31(2), if your lordships sees, my lords, the lessons for training drivers of non-transport vehicles shall cover parts A, B, C, F, G, and K of the syllabus to sub-rule 1. and the training period shall not be less than 21. The lessons for training of drivers, vehicles, transport vehicles covers E, F, G, H, I. So when applying for a transport vehicle, I have already undertaken A, B, C, F, G, and K in my examination. Thereafter, my lords, when I'm taking for transport, then I will cover parts E, F, G, H, I, J.
So there is
and
an additional training.
there is an additional training, that is, which is 1 year after, and for a specified period of, it says 30 days, 21 days then for transport, I have to undertake a 30 days further training.
It covers E, F, G, H, I, J, and K.
K. K is important, my lords, because K, I think, deals with first aid, if I'm not mistaken. E, F, G, H. I is fire hazards, vehicle maintenance. K is first aid. So K being suitable for human life, my lords, if some accident takes place or one injures oneself while driving, so K becomes first aid. So the statute requires, or the rules require, that you undergo that training again as far as first aid is concerned. K is common, my lords, and public relations for drivers, G,
Yes.
is common. So like F, which is transport, traffic education. Medium and heavy vehicles, that is E, theory 2, transport. And that's why in C, your lordships will find, it will say light vehicles driving practice, which applies for LMB.
So Mr. Dave,
Sorry.
perhaps we can say this.
Yes.
All those who are holding an LMV license, if they look at a truck driver,
Yes.
they must understand that he's better educated, at least from the license perspective,
Most certain. At least.
isn't it?
Yes. That assumption is there. If
Language, first aid, so many things he has to learn.
on a principle,
I don't think you are learning all that with your LMV license.
I don't think about that way. On a ceteris paribus principle, Milos, everything else remaining the same. A bus driver or a truck driver in this is certainly more educated than me when I'm driving a.
But this language is interesting. We always thought truck drivers need to learn certain kinds of language, but that is not what it is talking about.
That language is excluded.
Yeah.
Transport language. Transport language.
That is excluded.
It's tough language. Difficult language.
In fact, they are better.
Because if you lordships just sees the drive, though all of us ordinarily hold a driving license, at 881, which is Form 7, which is the form of driving license, they even provide to that much detail, laminated card without chip or smart card, visual inspection. It has Milos at 882. Motorcycle with gear, it has class of vehicle, motorcycle with gear, LMV, which is shown in a car, transport as a category, and then motor vehicle of specified description. Non-transport, specified description. And I'm informed of vehicle category, it will say NT is non-transport, TR is transport. So LNV, NT, TR, transport, and NTTR, there's a specific endorsement that has to be made there in the licensing category where what vehicle is being driven. Page 882. So transport, even if it's LMV, it will say non-transport or it will say LMV transport.
where is it in 882?
Lordships has that where motorcycle and all are made on the left side, my lords.
Yeah, this one, yes.
Yes, car.
Car hai, choti si.
It's the last bookmark, my lords, forms.
Column 11.
Gives out those pictures, that kind of picture of a driving license. So my learned friend's original compilation, the SCC didn't have it. So therefore he's added it later. So that something is not missing. This is important.
Single symbol mentioned.
Now there's the oblique.
Yes,
Is it and or is it alternative?
it's alternative.
Oh. NT, is it? Oh, I see. Does any of the juniors have a license here? I didn't want to ask the seniors to do that.
Your junior is.
Anyway, his is valid only for.
My learned brother has one, surely.
I'm saying his junior is here.
To date,
You are entitled to drive both.
non-transport. Retreat transport is different, yeah. Oh, it says validity non-transport, you're right, non-transport.
Was mentioned.
License without this, two distinction.
Yes, my lord. It may be.
Perhaps the licensing authority read the SCC version instead of.
No, that has come by way of an amendment.
That's right.
Before that, there used to be an endorsement. I'll show the old form also.
Exactly. Yeah. Gadi ka hai,
LMV.
and then non-transport.
But
This actually puts it beyond the pale of doubt, actually.
That's why I'm saying. I can take your lordships to Mukund Devangan.
In fact, it's exactly like the same
Same form.
form. Form is actually printed on the card. Same form. See inside.
I can imagine. my lord.
Let's see that.
It has to be.
Has to be, yeah. Now,
Same act
that's a
applies.
good thing, it's nationally unified now.
Yes.
This form has come in 2019. The earlier form had a separate plot thing saying
No, the
that endorsement for driving a transport vehicle.
Sure.
This, as being the same person as the holder of the license, it doesn't have your beard anymore. Oh.
I thought, why did Mr. Sood need to go to Tamil Nadu to get a license? But this is below the belt. no, that's it. Aadhaar, driving license, passport pictures are not to be shared.
And passport pictures are particularly bad because, the person who takes the photograph is constantly making you focus on that both your ears must be visible. Then, you must look in a particular way so that the reflection doesn't come in your specs.
Glasses, my lord, those
Or no glasses. In the olden days, at least, that was a...
Wear glasses, it's so difficult because if I take it off, I can't view even the court master clearly. Because that old form which Mr. Bhushan would place, my lord, it's there at page 880.
880?
880.
When did this new form come in?
2019, Mr. Bhushan. But the form itself starts at 878. And at 878, your lordships will find right at the bottom of 878. Transport vehicle, light motor vehicle, road roller, etc. mentioned. and a motor vehicle of a specified description, namely the license to drive a motor vehicle other than transport vehicle at page 879 is valid from so and so to so and so. License to drive transport vehicle or e-rickshaw, e-cart is valid from this date to this date.
So even before the amendment, it was very clear that the license was to drive a motor vehicle other than a transport vehicle.
No, and just below that, your lordship will find
Name it.
authorization to drive transport vehicle. Therefore, the first two, LMV may be different from transport vehicle. But the second, the authorization to drive a transport vehicle may come on an LMV license.
Right.
Because earlier, my lord, that section 10 did not have transport vehicle separately till the 94 amendment. 94 amendment. Section 10 was changed in 1994 and transport vehicle came there then. But even earlier, section 3 said that you will not be permitted to drive a transport vehicle unless your license specifically authorizes you to do so. So at that stage, they used to make an endorsement on a light motor vehicle or a medium motor vehicle or a heavy motor vehicle saying that you are authorized to drive a transport vehicle.
Yes.
So I would assume, my lord, that all persons who hold a transport vehicle license can drive a light motor vehicle, but all those who hold a light motor vehicle license can't drive a transport vehicle unless if there is a specific endorsement.
Yes.
That is the scheme of the Act.
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Does your lordships like to see Devangan? Because I'm done with the scheme of
Briefly, yes, let's do that because it's,
Devaka and then we'll start.
it's the fourth bookmark, my lords, on your lordships' computers. Starts at page 56. After the head notes, my lord, it starts at 67.
Oh, yeah.
At page 67. In the reference, the main question involved is whether a driver who is having a license to drive light motor vehicle and is driving transport vehicle of that class is required additionally to obtain an endorsement to drive a transport vehicle. There is a conflict in the plethora of decisions of this court, and various decisions have been set out by your lordships, my lords, in the judgment. Then 3, my lords, paragraph 3. Following questions have been referred for decision to the larger bench. What is the meaning to be given to the definition of light motor vehicle as defined in section 221 of the Motor Vehicles Act, whether transport vehicles are excluded from it? And 2, whether transport vehicle and omnibus, the gross vehicle weight of either which does not exceed 7,500 kgs would be a light motor vehicle, and also motor car or tractor or a road roller, unladen weight of which does not exceed 7,500 kgs, and holder of a license to drive the class of light motor vehicle as provided in 10(2)(d) would be competent to drive a transport vehicle or omnibus, the gross vehicle weight of which does not exceed 7,500 kgs, or a motor car or tractor or road roller, the unladen weight of which does not exceed 7,500 kgs. The second question is more or less the definition of what is contained in 221. Then 3, my lords, what